Hello there, Jonathan here, and welcome back as we're about to enter into our next room, the Cryo Chamber. So before we begin, I have a few things to go over. First of all, you might be saying to yourself at the moment, hey, where are the heroes at? Well, our heroes are going to be entering through the portal real soon, but first, let's go ahead and talk about some things our heroes did or did not do. Our gunslinger, after being attacked by the elite void spiders and defending against 2 of the 3 hits, she ended up receiving 4 wounds. Now after the wounds, our gunslinger should have done an armor check since she received armor 4+ from her mutation fused with rock. So here's the paper I made up for the mutation fused with rock. She gets a -2 move, minimum 1, and then she also gets armor 4+. So what that means is that for each wound, not hits, that Yvette received, which was 4, she would have then rolled 1d6 for each wound. So she would have rolled 4d6. Then for each d6 that comes up as a 4 or better, Yvette would have negated that wound. But luckily the 4 wounds were not part of knocking her out, and no one used any resources to heal those 4 wounds. Information regarding armor can be found in the rulebook on page 15 in the section Armor and Spirit Armor. Our saloon girl, during her first attack, only used her holdout pistols for their free attack. As you can see on their holdout pistols, the holdout pistol and the repeating holdout pistol, it says up top, free attack once per fight. So after her free attack, the saloon girl should have gotten another attack, her normal range attack, with each holdout pistol. But even if she did use her normal attack, that would not have helped the fact that she ended up getting KO'd. Also, the saloon girl had a batch of void shot that she could have loaded up in one of her holdout pistols to get an extra +1 damage, and this extra +1 damage that it provided would have helped taking down that elite void spider that had attacked her. So here's her void shot, and it is a gear and ammo, and it is +1 damage against void enemies. Our U.S. Marshal, during her first turn and after her second shot, because of the shotgun's double shot ability, giving her a second shot and then killing a strangler with that shot, she didn't use her Rolling Thunder ability to possibly receive a grit, though she was maxed out of grits at that time. But then on her second turn and after her first shot, she didn't use her Rolling Thunder ability again to possibly receive a grit. Then because she killed the enemy, she could have gotten another shot with her shotgun due to her double shot ability, which then if she killed another enemy with that second shot, she could have used her Rolling Thunder ability again to possibly receive another grit. And finally, our Bandita, she did okay with what she did, though she could have loaded up the void shot that she has available to her, just like the saloon girl could have, but it seemed logical that she kept with the hand-to-hand combat as she could attack more to take down more of those void spiders since she has a vendetta against void spiders. Next is the recap. Both the heroes and the enemies did pretty good. The heroes were knocking down the enemies pretty quick and using up some grits to help in their offense and defense. The enemies were hitting pretty good, but not continuing through with their damage due to the heroes succeeding on their defense rolls and also re-rolling from the use of a grit and succeeding there also. But one enemy did get one good attack in for some good damage. Now, though our Bandita, Angela, is not in cahoots with the enemies, she did strike Shauna and put her into the wall, knocking her out and producing a chest wound. This occurred due to the fact that Angela has a vendetta against void spiders and freaked out and used her upgrade brawling swinging fist ability to take out a bunch of those void spiders. Now this was good for Angela, but bad for the void spiders, and as you saw, bad for Shauna as well. Now normally you cannot attack other heroes, but on the map tiles, these are considered models. And because of the wording on the upgrade, brawling, swinging fist ability, you can. So on the card that I wrote up for Angela, here is her upgrade, brawling, swinging fists, and it says instead of a normal melee attack, use 1 grit to do a 3 combat melee attack to every adjacent model. And since Shauna's model was adjacent to Angela, she ended up getting hit and put into the wall and KO'd. Now after the combat, our heroes found some good and interesting loot as Yvette, our gunslinger, found a trusty pistol, which she ended up identifying as the same trusty pistol she found at the massacred wagon train after her and Shauna's last adventure. It has the same initials CW engraved on the bottom of the handle. So the question going through Yvette's mind is, why is that trusty pistol not at the general store where she sold it, but here in the mine? The mine that belonged to that old prospector she talked with at the saloon that is now owned by Clark Morgan, that she pried from a dead Bandito bandit's hand with the tattoo of 3 capital A's connected by the right side, the symbol for the AAA threat gang. Well, that's going to end the recap for our heroes and enemies. Now that our heroes are about to enter the Targa Plateau, let's go ahead and recap the Targa Plateau's information. First off is the world card for the other world, the Targa Plateau. As you can see at the moment on the play area, there are 2 world cards. We got the mines and the Targa Plateau. The Targa Plateau card is placed with the mines card, not as a starting of a stack, just like the map tile cards are doing at the moment, but as a reminder that our heroes are still in 2 different worlds, the mines and the Targa Plateau. So once all of the heroes have made their way onto the new world map tile, then at that time you would return the previous world card to the world cards deck and reshuffle all of the world cards. But since there are only 2 world cards in the City of the Ancients core box, then we would just place the mines card off to the side for any future portals. Information regarding the Targa Plateau can be found in 2 different areas. The first area is located on the world card just underneath the Targa Plateau's card name. And it says here that the Targa Plateau is frigid snow weather, and move rolls of 1 do 1 automatic wound to a hero with no defense roll, and heroes recover a grit on the move roll of 1 or 2. The second, more in-depth area is located in the adventure book on page 7 in the section The Targa Plateau, subsection Global Rules, and it contains 3 sections. The first section here, right up in here, is just a brief overview of the Targa Plateau. Here it says that it is a world that has been frozen over and is being watched over and maintained by robotic custodians, while the icy corridors have also become infested with hordes of ancient void spiders, ice scarabs, and lumbering snow terrors. The second section, right here, is the Global Rules section. This section contains the same information from the Targa Plateau's world card, plus 2 more pieces of information. First is that the frigid snow is a weather effect, and some clothing will offer protection against this effect. So in the case of Shauna and Angela, they both have ponchos. And then down at the bottom it says, ignore weather effects. Second is, if a hero already has an ability or anything else that lets them recover a grit on a roll of 1 or 2, like Angela, the Bandita's wildcard ability. So on her hero character sheet, you can see she has the ability called Wildcard, where it says, you may recover a grit on a move roll of 1 or 2. So if you have something like this or anything else, then you get to actually recover 2 grits on a roll of 1 or 2. The third section is information about a new enemy called a Targa Pylon. The model for the Targa Pylon does not come in the City of the Ancients core box. You're going to have to go ahead and buy them. But the City of the Ancients core box does come with a couple of circular markers that you can go ahead and use for the Targa Pylons. And that is all there is to know for the new rules regarding playing in the Targa Plateau Otherworld. The last recap that I came across is what I call what is in the game that is not in the game. Now this sounds like a confusing subject, but there are 2 items that I found in the City of the Ancients core box that I have no idea why they are in there or why the company even put them in there if there is nothing they can be used for. The first one is on the Cryo Chambers map tile card, and it's this right here, and is the interior symbol. So at the moment, there is nothing in the City of the Ancients core box's rulebook, adventure book, cards, etc. that talks about the interior symbol. So till I find out its meaning, it's just going to have to sit there. The second one is Angela's gear card, Rattlesnake Fangs. On the card it states, "You are immune to poison markers." So once again, at the moment, there is nothing in the City of the Ancients core box's rulebook, adventure book, cards, etc. that talks about this. Plus, there isn't even any poison markers in the box. So regarding both, hopefully there is most likely going to be something in the Shadows of Brimstone's future for these items, either a product, card, otherworld, etc., that these might be used for. Once I find out that information, I'll then go ahead and explain them. And last is the XP money update. Our gunslinger, Yvette, she started out with 185 XP, took down 6 elite void spiders, a strangler, and obtained some XP from the loot she found after the combat, so she is now at 340 XP. She started out with $340, and after finding an unknown amount of a Darkstone shard and a trusty pistol, she is now at $940. Our saloon girl, Shauna, she started out with 140 XP, used her comforting presence 7 times, obtained some XP from the loot she found after the combat, and then some XP from scavenging. So she is now at 225 XP. Just a reminder that, remember, Shauna was KO'd by Angela and didn't have the opportunity to kill any enemies, so that is why there is no mention of XP for taking down any enemies. She started out with $450, and after finding some blood money and an unknown amount of 2 Darkstone rocks, she is now at $600. But then Angela gave her a trusty axe worth $350, so her total increased to $950. Our U.S. Marshal, Sam, she started out with 385 XP, took down an elite void spider, 2 stranglers, and obtained some XP from the loot she found after the combat, so she is now at 490 XP. She started out with $400, and after finding some gold bars and an unknown amount of a Darkstone shard, she is now at $650. And finally, our bandita, Angela, she started out with 180 XP, took down 5 elite void spiders with a vendetta bonus, and obtained some XP from the loot she found after the combat, so she is now at 345 XP. She started out with $300, and after finding some coins and a trusty axe, she is now at $675. But then Angela gave the trusty axe worth $350 to Shauna, so her total decreased to $325. So with all of that gore from those elite void spiders and the stranglers behind them, and the next room the cryo chamber found, we're going to revisit our heroes passing through the portal as they enter into the Targa Plateau and the cryo chamber just before starting our next step, Step 3, Room Exploration. Well, the cryo chamber is quite quiet except for the occasional wind passing by and making its whirling sound as it stirs up the settled snow. Soon, the portal flares to life, and the gunslinger, Yvette, walks through the portal. After adjusting to the blinding white snow, Yvette looks around and sees the room is full of ice and snow, and then notices several lifeless, frozen, Bandito bandit bodies covered with frost and snow. Glancing at one of the closest Bandito bandits frozen on the ground, she sees two burnt and bubbled holes in his back, what looks like burnt wounds made from a red-hot fire poker, and his six-shooter being frozen in place in his left hand. Yvette then notices something on the Bandito bandit's left hand, and to verify what Yvette thinks to be true, she leans down and sure enough, the Bandito bandit's frozen left hand, still holding his gun, contains the 3 capital A's connected by the right side, the symbol for the AAA threat gang. Soon, the cold begins to penetrate Yvette's shirt that barely protects her, and the uncomfortable temperature is starting to affect her as she waits for the others to arrive. So what this means is that Yvette is going to be affected by the Targa Plateau's weather effect and will take 1 automatic wound with no defense roll if she rolls a 1 on her movement. Well, that's going to conclude the information for the gunslinger, Yvette, as the portal begins to stir, and the saloon girl, Shauna, walks through. The saloon girl, Shauna, staggers through the portal and onto the Targa Plateau, arms crossed over her chest with labored breathing through clenched teeth. Yvette asks if she is freezing and or the pain in her chest is from when she got put into the wall after Angela struck her. Shauna replies, "No, my chest is fine and I'm warm enough with this poncho on. I think the mutation I have, that infection, is causing me pain when I pass through a gate." So first of all, Shauna has no issue with the cold as she is wearing the weathered poncho. So as I said before, she's wearing the weathered poncho, and down below it says, "Ignore weather effects." Second, the pain is from the mutation void infection that she has. So here's the card that I wrote up for the mutation void infection, and it says, anytime you pass through a gate, you take 1 corruption point, ignoring willpower. So because of that, Shauna is going to get a corruption point. And lastly, Shauna ended up stopping on the space that she's at right now, and I thought that space was more than 50% of a full space. But due to the bad angle and the glare of the tile, it actually wasn't. So I'm going to have to go ahead and change Shauna's ending location, and I'm going to go ahead and move her just right next to her sister Yvette. Information regarding valid spaces can be found in the rulebook on page 11 in the section Hero Activation, subsection Hero Movement. So with the information for the saloon girl, Shauna concluded the portal stirs again, and the U.S. Marshal, Sam, walks through. Soon, just like our gunslinger Yvette, the cold begins to penetrate Sam's shirt that barely protects her from the cold, and the uncomfortable temperature is starting to affect her as well as she waits for Angela to arrive. Once again, this means that she is going to be affected by the Targa Plateau's weather effect, and she will also take 1 automatic wound with no defense roll if she rolls a 1 on her movement. Sam then glances down to the stock of her hunting rifle and finds the engraved Rune of the Void glowing after she walks through the portal. So here is her Rune of the Void, and the keywords are upgrade, rune, and void, and it's got a dark stone icon up there. Use 2 dark stone to attach to any item, and she's got this attached to her hunting rifle. For a bonus, you recover 1 grit and gain 25 XP anytime you pass through a gate. Limit once per gate. And it has the ability for taking up 1 slot, and it costs $150. So here is Sam's grit. I'm going to put that on her hero character sheet. Finally, for the 4th time, the portal stirs, and the bandita, Angela, walks through. Angela strolls in nice and calm, and just like Shauna, she is warming up with her poncho on. So as I said before, she's got the dusty poncho, and down below it's going to ignore weather effects. So if she happens to roll 1 on her movement, she will not get that 1 wound automatically. And with the last hero making their way onto the Targa Plateau and into the Cryo chamber, I'll go ahead and return the Mines card to the World card stack. Or in our case, since there is only 2 worlds, I'll just put it off to the side. So now let's continue on as we continue with our next step, Step 3, Room Exploration. So with Step 3, Room Exploration, we're going to go ahead and get the Exploration token and flip it over to see what we got. And we got 1 door, encounter times 2, and a clue. Excellent. So it looks like that's going to be clue number 3 out of 4 clues. So the first thing we got to do is find the door. So on the map card here, we'll go ahead and roll a d6. 1 to 3, our door will be up top, and 4 through 6, it'll be down below. And we got a 2. So the door is going to be up top, and then we'll go ahead and get an end cap, and we'll cap off the bottom exit. Alright, so next up is our encounter times 2. So we'll go ahead and get our encounter deck, and we'll see what we have for encounters. And now we're using the Targa Plateau encounters, since we are in the Targa Plateau, and this is the symbol for the Targa Plateau. First one we have is Darkstone Experiments. Alright. Next we have Ice Scarabs. Alright. Well, those are the 2 encounters. But now also what we have here is that on the map card, remember we're doing the advanced encounters. So we need to go into the encounter deck and look for cryo tubes. Okay, here it is. So those are going to be the 3 encounter cards for this exploration token. And then the last is the exclamation point. So that is our 3rd clue. 1 more clue, and we will be out of here. So now we're going to go ahead and resolve our encounter cards. So let's take a look and see what we got here. So the advanced one is cryotubes. The keywords are Targa, Encounter, Active, and Tech. On the far wall of the room sits a bank of giant glass tubes inset into alien machinery. They glow with an eerie blue light, and you can just make out the shapes of shadowy figures inside. Each hero may try to open one of the cryotubes if they want, do a lore 5+ or a cunning 6+. If successful, gain 50 XP and roll a d6. On a 1, ambush attack. 2 to 4 is a dead humanoid, and 5 and 6 is a dreadful experiment. Okay, so that's the cryotubes. The next one is Ice Scarabs. The keywords are Targa, Encounter, Active, and Swarm. Pouring up out of cracks in the floor, hundreds of vicious ice scarabs attack. Every hero immediately takes 2d6 minus their strength wounds with no defense as they try to fend off the attacking swarm. They also gain d6 times 10 experience points. Nice. And the last one is Darkstone Experiments. The keywords are Targa, Encounter, Environment, and Hazard. The room appears to have been some sort of laboratory for experimenting with refined darkstone. A massive sphere of darkstone hovers in the center of the room. Oh, let's see, it must be way up top. Held in place by chains, and the walls are lined with alien tools and workstations. Any hero ending their move on this map tile takes 1 corruption hit from the warping energies. This map tile may be scavenged up to 5 times. For every scavenged card drawn, also gain 1 Darkstone. Nice. And this one is going to remain in play. So the whole time that they are in the cryo chamber, this is going to affect them. Okay, well, I guess we can do any of these we want in order. And actually, Yvette actually says we need to go ahead and skip these cryotubes. Let's not go ahead and look at them. We need to go ahead and go to the exit, get out of here, and go find that room with the flora and fauna. So they're going to go ahead and just skip this one. And then we're going to go ahead and do the Darkstone Experiment second. And it really doesn't have an effect. It just says any hero ending their move on this map tile. So next turn, this is going to start to take effect. And then also scavenging up to 5 times. So this is going to remain in play. Put that up there. And then our last one are ice scarabs. So every hero immediately takes 2d6 minus their strength in wounds with no defense. Okay, so the first one up is our gunslinger Yvette. She has a strength of 2. So we're going to go ahead and roll a 2d6 minus 2 and see how many wounds she gets. Oh, that's not bad. That's 4 minus 2. That's only 2. So she's going to go ahead and take 2 wounds, and that is all the wounds that she has on her. Next one up is the saloon girl, Shauna, and she has a strength of 2. So let's see how much wounds she's going to get. Okay, these must be like little itty bitty scarabs. There's 3 minus the 2. So that's going to be just 1 wound for her. Now she has 7 wounds on her already, so that's going to make 8 wounds on her. Now she has a bandage, and she's going to go ahead and use that bandage right now to try and heal up. So I'm going to roll a d6 to see how much wounds she heals up. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right. So she's going to heal up 6 wounds. And that means that she's going to have 2 wounds remaining. So our next one is our U.S. Marshal, Sam, and she has a strength of 3. So let's see how much damage these ice scarabs do. Maybe she's going to get some of the bigger ones that are coming from the back. Oh, okay. Oh, they must have been some really big ones. So there's 10 minus the 3 is 7. So Sam's going to go ahead and take 7 wounds, and she's got a health of 13, so that's not looking too good there. And then Shauna, she used up that bandage, so I'm going to put that away. And the last one is Bandita Angela. She has a strength of 4. See how good she does. Okay, she rolled a 6. 6 minus 4. And that's going to be 2 damage. Alright, she has only 1 on her right now, so that 2 is going to make a total of 3 damage. or 3 wounds that she has on her now. So we'll go ahead and remove the ice scarab things, and then we also need to do a d6 times 10 experience points. So our gunslinger is going to get 5. 5 times 10 is 50 experience points. Our saloon girl Shauna, she's got a 6. That's going to be 60 experience points. Our U.S. Marshal Sam, excellent. She gets a 6. That's 60 experience points for her. And then our bandita Angela, she's going to get 5. Excellent. 50 experience points. Alright, well that's going to end our step 3 with the exploration token. The Darkstone experiments are still in place there since it remains in play. And now we move on to step 4, end of the turn. Well, our group is all huddled together, and because everyone is huddled next to our saloon girl, she can go ahead and do her comforting presence. So our gunslinger has 2 wounds, so Yvette is going to go ahead and take 1 wound off. U.S. Marshal Sam, she has 7 wounds. We'll go ahead and take 1 off her, so she's down to 6. And our bandita, she's got 2 sanity out of 10, so she's going to go ahead and remove 1 of those sanities instead. So she's down to 1 sanity now. Okay, so with that, that's going to end step 4 and also turn 14. So let's go ahead and go back to the beginning with turn 15. So as we start off with turn 15, let's go ahead and move our first player marker up to our gunslinger, Yvette. And then now before we have Shauna hold back the darkness, it looks like our bandita and our U.S. Marshal are starting to be affected by the Targa Plateau. The bandita and the U.S. Marshal are all primed up with black and white primer. Before we start our painting process, here's our bandita, and the black is showing the shadows where the whites are showing the highlights. Our U.S. Marshal. If you'd like to, you can go ahead and check out the playlist, Miniature Painting, for updates on miniatures that I'm going to be painting for all my games. Now when you watch the miniature painting video, I'm going to be referring to the bandita, which is a female bandit, as a bandito, which is a male bandit, since the model we are using is the male version. And if you didn't know, a bandito is the male version of a bandit. Since the end of the word ends in an O, this informs you that the word is of a masculine gender and the bandita is the female version of a bandit. Since the end of the word ends in an A, this informs you that the word is of a feminine gender. So now, let's go ahead and continue on with turn 15. So Shauna's all ready to go ahead and hold back the darkness. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. She's going to need to get a 7+ to hold back the darkness. And she just gets it with a 7. Nice going, Shauna. Excellent. Okay, so first up is going to be Yvette. And Yvette's informed the rest of the group there that we need to just get out of here. Don't even worry about those cryo tubes. Let's just leave here because I'm starting to get this weird feeling here as I'm feeling some kind of surges going on here of energy and such. So Yvette's going to go ahead and start off with her move. Let's see what she gets for her movement. Okay, she gets a 2. Alright, so that's going to not have to worry about getting damaged on the Targa Plateau, but she did roll a 2, so because of that, she will go ahead and receive a grit. So that's going to give her number 2 out of her max of 2 grits. And then her movement of 2 minus a 3 because of her mutation and injury, she's only get to move a 1. So we'll go ahead and just move her 1 space right there. So next thing we have to do after she ends her movement is, because of the Darkstone experiments, she's possibly going to get a corruption hit from the warping energies. So she needs to do a willpower save, which is a 4+ for her, and we'll see if she gets a corruption hit or not. Okay, she rolls a 3, that's not good enough. So now that corruption hit is going to turn into a corruption point. So she's going to end up getting another corruption, and that's number 2 for her. So now she's going to go and do her search. There are no enemies on the board, so she's going to go ahead and try and scavenge. So let's go ahead and roll that 3d6 to see if she finds anything. 3, 5, and 5. So that's a nope. So she finds nothing. So that's going to end her turn. And next up is going to be our saloon girl, Shauna. So she's going to go ahead and start off by doing her movement. She gets a 4. And she also has that fast movement, a +1, so she gets a 5. So she's going to go ahead and move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's right up the space, waiting to exit this place. She turns back and, come on, Yvette, let's go. Pick it up, pick it up. So that's going to end her movement. And on that, she's got to do the Darkstone experiments. She's got that corruption hit. See if she can do a willpower of 4+. 6. So she makes it. So she does not get a corruption point. So she's going to go ahead and try and scavenge. So she's going to go ahead and scavenge with 4d6 because she gets that extra die from her upgrade. And see if she finds anything. Okay, a 2, 5, 6, and 6. Excellent. Okay, so she found 2 items. Let's go and get the scavenge deck. And the first thing we got here is the token. We'll go and put that on the tile to show that it's been scavenged once. And remember, because of Darkstone experiments, you get to scavenge this tile up to 5 times. So let's see here. Scavenge card number 1. Small find. Scavenge 10 XP. You find a small scattering of coins stained with blood. $25. Okay, then our next one is Emerging Darkness. Scavenge 10 XP. Sometimes when you look too deeply into the shadows start looking back. Draw a darkness card. Uh-oh. Alright, so let's go and get the darkness deck. Let's go and take a look at our darkness deck, see what we get. Overwhelming Dread. Keywords are darkness and dread. I got a real bad feeling about this. Add a Growing Dread card to the stack. Alright. Go and get our Growing Dread cards and just put that on the stack. Do not look at it till told to, which is at the final room. So that, and then small find. So we go ahead and discard the Overwhelming Dread. And then the 2 scavenge cards we go and just shuffle back into the deck. See if she gets those later on. There we go. Okay, so that's going to go ahead and end Shauna's turn. Next up is going to be the U.S. Marshal, Sam. So she's going to start off with her movement, see what she gets. She gets a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And Yvette says, hey, let's go ahead and stay in the same formation. And Sam's going to move behind Shauna because if they're in the same formation, Shauna took Yvette's place. And so we're going to leave it at that. So that's going to end Sam's movement. Now we're going to go and see if her willpower is going to make it to stop that corruption hit. She'll need a 4+ on her willpower. Oh, and she just makes it with a 4. Excellent, excellent. So next, Sam is going to go ahead and search, and she's going to go ahead and scavenge with 3d6 and see if she finds anything. 3, 5, and a 6. Excellent. So Sam finds one item. So let me go ahead and grab the scavenge deck here. And we got ourselves our token. So there is scavenge number 2. And let's find out what she gets. Nothing here. Scavenge 10 XP. The room appears to have nothing of value. Nothing to find. Oh, sorry Sam. Nothing there. So let's go ahead and we'll shuffle them back up. And that's going to go ahead and end Sam's turn. So let's go on to our next one, which will be our Bandita, Angela. And we'll go ahead and start off by her movement, see what she gets. Okay, so she gets a movement of 1. Now the first thing that's going to happen is that Targa Plateau would have caused her damage because she rolled a 1, where she would have got a wound with no defense. But remember, she does have that Dusty Poncho, which ignores the weather effects. So she does not receive that 1 wound. And then because she rolled a 1 on her movement, she's going to receive a grit. But remember, since she has that wildcard ability, which she receives a grit on a 1 or 2, and then with the Targa Plateau, you receive a grit on a 1 or 2, she's going to receive 2 grits. But at the moment, she already has 2 grits, so that's her maximum. But she's going to go ahead and use one of those grits that she got, and she's going to go ahead and do another movement. So first of all, her 1 movement from that, and then she's going to go ahead and move again. And this time she's going to move a 4. And she's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like she's going to go ahead and move up to the front line, so that will leave a space for Yvette in the back. Okay, so now Angela, she's going to have to go ahead and see if she stops the corruption hit from occurring because of the Darkstone experiments. She's got a willpower of 5+. Uh-oh, this ain't looking good. So let's see if she stops that corruption. And that is a no. So Angela is going to receive the corruption hit and fail to now get a corruption point, and she now has 2 corruption points on her. So that's going to finish her movement, and then now she's going to go ahead and scavenge, and she gets to roll 4d6 instead of 3d6 because she's got that Ace of Spades. Gives her an extra d6 on scavenging. So let's see if she finds anything. 1, 2, 4, and 5. Nope. She did not find anything. So that's going to go ahead and end our step 2 for the models activating. Next we go on to step 3, room exploration. Well, they've already explored and they found the encounter cards and they resolved them all, so that completes step 3. And let's go ahead and move on to step 4, end of the turn. So at the end of the turn, looks like our Bandita and U.S. Marshal are next to Shauna, so Shauna gets to do her comforting presence on those 2. And U.S. Marshal Sam, she's going to go ahead and remove one of her wounds, so now she's down to 5 wounds. And our Bandita, she's going to go ahead and remove her last sanity. So she's down to 0 sanity now. So that's going to go ahead and end step 4 and turn 15. So let's go ahead and continue on with turn 16. Okay, so we're at the beginning of the turn, turn 16. Let's go ahead and move our first player marker. back up to our gunslinger Yvette. And then Shauna, let's go ahead and hold back the darkness. 6. Oh, she just missed it. Okay, so with that, the darkness marker is going to move 1 to space 6. And as you can see here, on space 6 it says Growing Dread. So with that, we got to go ahead and get the Growing Dread deck. And we'll go ahead and take one of the Growing Dread cards, put it on the stack to be resolved later. And poor Shauna is just looking at the lantern going, why ain't this thing working? Tap, tap, tap. Alright, this is going to move on to step number 2, our model activation in initiative order, and our gunslinger is up first. So she's going to go ahead and move. And she gets a 1. So that's not looking good. So first of all, because they're on the Targa Plateau, she's going to get affected from the weather. And with that, she's going to go ahead and get 1 wound. So she's up to 2 wounds now. But because she did roll a 1, she's going to receive a grit. But she does have 2 grits at the moment, so she is maxed out at her 2, so she's not going to get anything there. And now that she finished her movement, she's got to go ahead and try and save against the corruption hit. So she's got a 4+ she's got to go up against for her willpower. And a 5, so she makes it. So that's good there. And then we're going to go ahead and move her just that 1. So now she's going to go ahead and search, and there's no enemies on the board, so she's going to go ahead and scavenge. So let's go and roll 3d6 to see if she finds anything. 1, 1, and a 6. Yep, so she finds something. Let's go ahead and grab this scavenge deck. And then we get one of the scavenged tokens. And put that on the tile there. And we'll see what she gets. Nothing here. Scavenge 10 XP. The room appears to have nothing of value, nothing to find. Okay. We'll go ahead and shuffle this up. We'll shuffle them a little bit longer here. Maybe we'll bring something better to the top. Oh my God. Alright, Yvette's yelling at the group, come on, we gotta get out of here. Shauna's like, no, there's a lot of good stuff here. Yvette's like, I don't think so. I don't think so. Alright, that's going to end Yvette's turn. Next up is going to be our saloon girl, Shauna. And let's go ahead and do her movement. So she rolls a 2. So with that, that's going to get her a grit in the Targa Plateau. There's 1. We'll put that on her character sheet, and she's got 2 grits for a maximum of 2 so far. And that's going to go ahead and end her movement. She's just going to stay right there. Now she's got to go ahead and roll for the Darkstone experiments. She needs a 4+ on her willpower. And a 5, so she makes it. Okay, so she's going to go ahead and search, and she'll go ahead and scavenge. 4, 4, 5, and 5. Nope. So she did not find anything. So that's going to end her turn. Next up is our U.S. Marshal, Sam. So let's go ahead and do our movement. And she rolls a 2. So she's going to go ahead and get a grit. And at the moment she has 2 grits. This one's going to give her number 3 because she has a max grit of 3. So she's maxed out with 3 grits at the moment. Next thing we're going to have to do is the Darkstone experiments. And she's got a willpower of 4+. Let's see what happens. No, not good. So she fails that one. And with that, she's going to go ahead and her corruption hit's going to turn into a corruption point. So she now has her first corruption. So 4 more for her, and she's going to mutate. Since she seems to be the only one that doesn't have a mutation. So our gunslinger Yvette, she's walking around with the fused with rock. Our saloon girl Shauna, she's got that void infection. And our bandita Angela, she's got two of them. She's got that mutation of fangs, and then she also has that darkstone allergy. Okay, so the movement is complete for Sam. So she's going to go ahead and try and scavenge. 1, 4, and 5. Okay, so that's nothing for Sam. She did not find anything, so that's going to end Sam's turn. Let's go ahead and move down to our bandita Angela. She's up. And let's go ahead and start off with her movement. And a 6. So she's just going to stay there. She doesn't get any bonuses or anything from the 6 she rolled, so she's fine with that. And then she's going to do her darkstone experiments. She needs a 5+. Let's see what happens on that one. A 1. Oh, that's not good. Alright, so that's going to give her another corruption point. So she's now at a total of 3. 2 more, and she's going to be adding another mutation to the 2 that she has already. Ouch. Alright, so she's going to go ahead and search. So she's going to go ahead and do some scavenging. See what she gets. Okay, she got a 4, 5, 6, and 6. So she scavenged 2 items. So let's go ahead and see what she gets. Let's go ahead and grab the scavenge deck. And there's our token. That is number 4 out of 5. And she gets 2 of them because she's got 2 6s here. The first one is something shiny. Scavenge, 10 XP. There's something back there. Roll a d6. 1 to 4, you get 1 Darkstone. 5, you draw a gear card. And 6, you draw an artifact card. Okay. Oh, you know what? I just remembered something. By reading Darkstone, there's actually, on the Darkstone experiments, it says, the map tile may be scavenged up to 5 times. For every scavenge card drawn, also gain 1 Darkstone. Okay, so missed out on that line there, so we need to go back over and find out who actually scavenged some things and see what Darkstones they got. So let's see, Shauna, she scavenged twice, and Sam scavenged once from last turn. So our saloon girl Shauna, she's going to get those 2 Darkstone, and she's got 5 already, so that totals out at 7. And then Sam, she's going to get 1. She has 1 already, so that's going to give her 2. And then Yvette, she just scavenged this turn. So she scavenged 1, so there is 1 for her. And then let's go ahead and just add this into Angela's. Since she scavenged 2 cards, she's going to get 2 Darkstone. And then she kind of freaks out right off the bat because she's got that Darkstone allergy, and she backs away from those Darkstone. She doesn't want to grab those things. She's kind of freaking out a little bit. And Shauna, being right next to her, says, "Oh, don't worry. I'll go ahead and take those from you." So these 2 Darkstone, we're going to go ahead and give to Shauna. So now Shauna's carrying 9 Darkstone. She knows what's going to happen if she does some bad stuff at the end. So we'll see what happens with her. So back to the something shiny. We need to roll a d6 to find out what happens. And she got a 6. So that's going to give her draw an artifact card. They are in the Targa Plateau. So there's the Targa Plateau artifacts. And she gets void crystals. Keywords are artifact, Targa, void. Discard, except during a fight, to replace 1 unexplored door on your map tile with a gate instead. That's $100. Now, Angela finds this one, And because Shauna took those 2 Darkstone from her, she says, "Here, I want you to take this because you helped me out." So she's going to go ahead and give these void crystals to Shauna. And now Shauna has 2 sets of void crystals. Okay, so that was the first of her scavenge cards, and the second one is going to be Emerging Darkness, Scavenge 10 XP. Sometimes when you look too deeply into the shadows start looking back. Draw a darkness card. Okay, there we go. So we got our darkness deck, and she gets demonic speed. Keywords are darkness, boost, demon. All demon enemies are now +1 initiative and +2 move. Oh, and this one's going to remain in play. So we're going to put that up here with the Darkstone experiments. So that's going to stay in play for the rest of the game, whereas Darkstone experiments remains in play, and that one's only going to stay in play while the heroes are on that map tile. So we'll go ahead and take those 2 scavenge cards. Go ahead and just shuffle them up in there. There you go. Hopefully next time is going to be a little bit better. Oh my gosh. Alright, we'll find out that here pretty soon. Okay, so that's going to end the Bandita's turn. And that'll actually end step 2. We go on to step 3, room exploration, and they already explored the room. So we go ahead and end step 3. Go to step 4, end of the turn. We got ourselves the Bandita and the U.S. Marshal are next to Shauna. And our U.S. Marshal, she's going to go ahead and remove one of her wounds. Now she's got one of these fibers, so we'll go ahead and remove that. And then we'll go ahead and just place down these 4 wound tokens. And then our Bandita, Angela, she's going to go ahead and remove one of her wounds. So she's down to 2. Okay, that's going to end step 4, end of the turn, and turn 16. So let's go ahead and move on to turn 17. We're at the beginning of the turn, turn 17, and let's go ahead and move our first player marker up to our gunslinger, Yvette, and then have our saloon girl, Shauna, hold back the darkness. Now before we have Shauna hold back the darkness, it looks like we got some Technicolor for our heroes as they are all painted up. So let's go ahead and take a look at our heroes to see what we got. First one up here is our Bandita, Angela. And she has a light yellow coat with some dark blue pants. And then she's got some red accents on her sash, neckerchief, and the brim of her hat. Next up is our saloon girl, Shauna. And she's all decked out in red, with a red dress and red boots. Looking pretty good there. And we have our U.S. Marshal, Sam. She's got a brown theme going on here with different colors of browns for her hat and vest and pants. And she's got a light red shirt on. And then we have our gunslinger, Yvette. And she is all decked out in black with a black hat, black coat, black pants. And she also has a very dark purplish vest on. And then also all of our models here have a base with some gravel and different sized rocks and a dead bush. So they're all looking pretty good there. Now if you'd like to, you can go ahead and check out the playlist Miniature Painting for the completion of these models. But first, let's go ahead and continue on with Turn 17. So first up is going to be Shauna, as she's going to go ahead and hold back the darkness. So let's go ahead and roll our 2d6. And we need to get a 7 plus. And she just barely got it with a 7. So she holds back the darkness there. And then first up with our heroes as we go into step 2, as we activate in initiative order, is our gunslinger Yvette. So she'll go ahead and start off with her movement and see if she can go ahead and get up with the other group there. Okay, so she gets a 5, and then remember she's got all those issues with her with the mutation and the injury, so there's a -3 on that. So she's going to get a movement of 2, and she'll just move 1 and 2, so she's up with the group now. And then Shauna looks back and says, "Oh, glad you could join us." "Oh, fine. I'm up here. Come on, let's get going. So our gunslinger finishes her move up there. And then, because of the Darkstone Experiments card, after the move, she's got to go ahead and do a willpower save against the corruption hit that occurs because of the warping energies. So she has a willpower of 4 plus. So let's see if she holds that back and does not get a corruption point. Oh, so she rolls a 3, which is 1 less than what she needed. And with that, she's going to end up getting a corruption point from that corruption hit because she failed her willpower save. So now she has 3 corruption points. And remember, when you get to 5 corruption points, you're going to go ahead and mutate. So hopefully she can hold back any other corruption hits so they don't get any more corruption points. So she's going to go ahead and finish off her move, and she can go into her search. Now there's no enemies on the board, so nothing to battle. So she's going to go ahead and either scavenge or look through a door, but she is not at the end part of the tile here, so she cannot look through the door. So remember, on the Darkstone Experiments card, it says you can go ahead and scavenge this room up to 5 times. Now we got 4 scavenge tokens on there, so she's going to go ahead and scavenge the room. So we're going to go ahead and roll 3d6 to see if she finds anything. Okay, so she gets a 1, a 6, and a 6. So Yvette has scavenged 2 items. So let's go ahead and get our scavenge deck, and we'll see what she gets. And there's a scavenge deck, and then here's our scavenge token. Put that on there. That shows that the map tile has been scavenged 5 times. And we'll see what she gets for her first card. And it's a useful discovery. It's a scavenge for 10 XP. Pulling it from the gnarled hand of a dead body, you find something of value in this forsaken place. Draw a gear card. Alright, so I'll put that there for a second. And her second card is a hideous discovery. Scavenge, 10 XP. Poking around in the shadows, you see something that chills you to the bone. You quickly return to the group, refusing to speak of what you found. Take 3 horror hits and lose 2 sanity for each horror hit failed. Alright. So with the useful discovery, she's going to draw a gear card. So here's our gear deck, and she gets a journal pages. Keywords are gear and journal. It says discard to recover 1 grit and gain 50 XP. And then she could also sell this for $50. Alright, so we'll go ahead and place this with her other stuff. Alright, so that is her useful discovery. And then we'll go ahead and do the hideous discovery. Alright, we're going to roll 3 horror hits, and that's going to be against her willpower save of 4 plus. So we'll see how many she makes here. Okay, so she gets a 1, 1, and a 5, so she fails twice. And since she's going to go ahead and lose 2 sanity for each failure, then she's going to go ahead and lose 4 sanity. But she's feeling kind of shaken up there a little bit right away, so she's going to go ahead and use one of her whiskeys to combat that sanity loss. So we're going to go ahead and roll a d6 to see how much of those 4 sanities she gets back. Okay, so she gets a 2, so she gets 2 back out of the 4, and she goes ahead and reaches into her cask to get another whiskey token. And she's going to go ahead and swig that down because she doesn't want to keep that sanity level up, so she's too jittery and she wants to go ahead and shoot straight. So she's got 2 sanity left. We'll see what this whiskey token does. And we get a 3 on that one, so that's a total of 5. And she had 4 sanity, so all of her sanity is now cleared up. All right, so we can get rid of these 2 whiskey tokens. And then we'll get rid of our Hideous Discovery card. And also, before the Gunslinger's turn is over, from the Darkstone Experiments card, for each of the scavenge cards that a hero finds, they're also going to find 1 Darkstone each. So she found 2 scavenge cards, so Yvette is going to get 2 more Darkstones. So now she's going to have 3 corruption points and 4 Darkstones on her at the moment. So we'll see what happens to her at the end of the adventure here. So with that, that is going to go ahead and end our Gunslinger Yvette's turn. The next one up is going to be our Saloon Girl, Shauna. So she's going to go ahead and do a move. And she gets a 3, so she'll just go ahead and just stay there. Next, she's going to go ahead and do her search. And there's no enemies on the board. And all of the 5 scavenges have been done. So she can't do anything there. So she's going to go ahead and do the other part of search, which is looking through a door. So she's going to go ahead and look through the door there to see what they have for the next room. So let's go ahead and grab the map deck for the Targa Plateau. And we got our little cheater there that says to go ahead and advance our hero posse marker. So that's going to go down the track from 13 down to 12. And let's go ahead and see what room we got. And we got the T-junction passage. All right, let me go ahead and find that tile. And here we go. Here's our T-junction passage. As you can see on the card, there's the green arrow that says right here is the entrance into the T-junction passage. So this part will go right where our heroes are at. So let's go ahead and move some cards around here a little bit. And let's go ahead and place our T-junction passage right here. And then we'll go ahead and normally we would place an exploration token on the map tile, but here it says no exploration token. So for the T-junction passage, there will be no exploration token there. And before Shauna actually continues along, she was so excited to see what room was coming up that she was not aware of those warping energies from the cryo chamber affecting her. So let's go ahead and roll against her willpower to see if she actually gets that corruption hit to turn into a corruption point. So she has a willpower of 4+, so we'll go ahead and see if she makes that roll. Oh no! Like sister, like sister. So Shauna rolls a 3 on her willpower to save against the corruption hit, turning into a corruption point. And since she did not make her willpower of 4+, she fails that. And with that, she's going to go ahead and end up taking a corruption point. So now Shauna has 2 corruption points, and she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Darkstone. So that might not be looking good for her at the end of the adventure. Hopefully she can hold back against those Darkstones corrupting her to turn into corruption hits and then finally corruption points. So we shall see. So that is going to go ahead and end Shauna's turn. Next up, we're going to have our U.S. Marshal, Sam. So Sam's going to go ahead and do her movement. And she gets a 3. And she's just going to stay there as she's right behind Shauna. And since models cannot move through models, unless you have a special ability like Shauna does, where she has acrobatic dodge, she can move through another model. So with that, our U.S. Marshal Sam is just going to go ahead and stay there. So she's going to enter her movement. And then after our movement, those warping energies are going to affect her because she is on that tile. She has a willpower of 4+. So let's go ahead and see what she gets. A 3. A 3. Okay, I think this dice is loaded. Alright, so she misses it by 1. So she ends up getting the corruption hit, turning into a corruption point. So Sam, our U.S. Marshal, is going to get a corruption point. So she now has 2 corruption points, and she has 2 Darkstone. So she doesn't seem to be doing that bad. And then when we go into the search, there's no enemies on the board. Everything's been scavenged, the 5 scavenge tokens. And then also, well, first of all, she's not near the edge of the tile, so she can't even look through the door to see the next room. So with that, her turn is going to be on. And our final hero is the Bandita. So let's go ahead and see how Angela is going to deal with this as she goes ahead and does her movement. She gets a 3, so she's just going to go ahead and stay there. And then because she is on that map tile, the warping energies are going to affect her, so she needs to roll her willpower save, which is a 5, to see if she can go ahead and hold back this corruption hit from turning into a corruption point. Okay, a 5, she just barely makes it. So she's the only one that did not get affected by these warping energies. But she's definitely like, alright, something's weird's happening in this room. We need to get out of here. So that's going to end step 2. And now we're going to go on to step 3, which is room exploration. Now normally we stop the video here, but because there is no exploration token in our next room, we're going to just go ahead and continue on. So with step 3, room exploration, we'd go ahead and flip that exploration token, but there is no token in the T-junction passage because as it shows here on the card, it says no exploration token. So with that, we're going to finish up step 3, and then we go on to step 4, which is end of the turn. And if there's any cards or special abilities, they'll go ahead and go off. And so Shauna's got that comforting presence, and any hero that is adjacent to her may heal up 1 wound or 1 sanity. So Yvette will go ahead and remove 1 of the wounds from her. Our U.S. Marshal, she'll go ahead and remove 1 of the wounds. And then Bandita, she'll go ahead and remove 1 of the wounds. So with that, that's going to go ahead and end turn 4. And we're going to go ahead and end the video now. So join us next time as we continue along as we enter into the next room, the T-junction passage.